been a dear friend for many, many, many years. And I know how many times over the years we shared lunches together, and I'd always go to Richard for advice. And I always thought to myself, why didn't I think of that? So Richard, you have been a true friend for so many years. You've given me such good advice over the years, and this is special to me, presenting you with this award tonight. You are a dear friend along with the whole family. And Curt, if you would take over, please.
Yeah, and I'm gonna step up here. That's okay. So good evening. Thank you everybody for being here, especially to the guests and family for Colonel Richard Muscatello. Thank you for helping us to celebrate. Tonight we have a few, that's right, a few special honors for Colonel Richard Muscatello. Now some of you might remember back in 2019, we actually had a proclamation that was very specific to the volunteer service and leadership, specific to the Comprehensive Planning Task Force. Very influential work, but it did not encompass the broader body of work that Colonel Richard Muscatello has been involved with, and in many cases have led over the years. Today is about thanking you for everything that you have done for the town of Wheatfield. That includes the appointed positions, the committees, the trailblazing, pushing the envelope, encouraging others to get involved. All of that in the name of making the town of Wheatfield a better place. And we have a short program here for you tonight, Colonel, and we're going to open it up with our Planning Board Chairman, Garrow, to say a couple of words.
Now, I was going to say a few words off the cuff, and I was just going to say it verbally, but it's too important. I want to make sure everyone hears me. Okay.
It works.
Larry, you said keep it light.
Don't ever do that again.
Supervisor, Counselman, town clerks, town attorney, community, thank you for this opportunity to express this note of appreciation for a friend, mentor, leader, organizer, and community contributor. Richard is an example of an exemplary life, including his military career, becoming a colonel in the Air Force, base commander. That career built on a personality of traits of significant values. Here are some examples of those traits and values that I witnessed and experienced in more than a decade of interactions. Richard once asked me to help him as he created and developed the town's Comprehensive Planning Task Force and the town's Greenspace Plan, and various supporting focus groups. Always well and properly dressed, and with a friendly smile, he explained about the town codes and how the comprehensive plan was the foundation of those codes, and that together these work to preserve the valued images of the town. I found out later that he was one who helped create and update many of those existing codes and their checklists. Getting involved, I witnessed his skills to organize, lead, provide direction, and use such methods as SWOT analysis. Taking from that, it helped me see his strengths as he developed our opportunities. Then we worked together with the town's planning board. Here his mentoring guided me that within the formalities of the board's proceedings, to avoid personal opinions, to stick to the facts and current applications and existing codes. We were to keep from any code impacting precedents and to ensure each decision was uniquely documented. His course was steady, consistent, and disciplined. Through all this, I also learned of his deep human values. Richard has devoted and has a dedicated set of beliefs on faith, religion, and respect for life. He loves this community and has always done what he could to protect and defend us and our values. Thank you, Richard, for setting so many great examples and for all your sacrifices and contributions.
Thank you, Walt. Very, very good, very true.
Larry?
Well, I came to the town board back in like 1992. In early 1991, the town was looking to put energy from waste. I think the project was called, do you remember what the name of the project was? Wheelabator? And Richard was the chair of our committee back in 1991 to see if we wanted garbage from waste. And that's what the BFI, BFW, whatever that plant is at Oxy started, and then, you know, the big smokestack in Niagara Falls. We took a tour of the facility to see how they dump a garbage truck and burn everything and recycle what they can. And it was pretty enlightening, but that goes back. I know I had the cake made today. It says 25 years, but we should have put 30 plus. It says 25 plus, but you know, I'm the math guy and I screwed up. But a couple other things. We used to go to New York City, Association of Towns. And Richard made sure that we went to all the classes. One year we came back, and I don't know whether it was 2001, 2002, around that time period. And they were showing us how they could do wage and salaries. We had some problems in the town. We didn't have job descriptions for hardly anybody, almost nobody. Our wages weren't fair, and you know, some clerks and some people were getting paid this amount, some others amount. So we tried to equalize everything out and make it fair and put it through, well, we have county civil service too. So we had some obstacles that we had to jump through. We just couldn't make it the town of Wheatfield wage and salary. We had to abide by all the things that Niagara County Civil Service was telling us to do. So soon after we started this process, and it took months, it literally took almost a year, we were kind of labeled the Blue Ribbon Committee. You remember that? And we did it. And the people in New York City that we got the ideas from, they were giving us quotes of $30,000 to $40,000 to come in and revamp this whole thing for wage and salaries. Well, Richard championed that, and we saved over almost $40,000 by doing it ourselves. So my hats are off to you, Richard, for helping us get through that. Well, my hats are off to your daughter, Patty, too, because every time I have to call Richard up at home, he says, I have to put my daughter on the phone. Sometimes, you know, not that my computer skills are that great, but sometimes I had to get Richard on a Zoom, or I had to get him to do something, and Patty was always there to get Richard through all these computer hurdles. But thanks for helping out your dad.
Sure. Thank you.
Supervisor?
Yes.
No, I have the award. I'm talking about the match that you wanted.
Oh, yeah, I was going to write it down.
Yeah.
Okay, Richard. One of the things the town wants to do, not only because of your public service, but for your military service, we are putting benches at the memorial. The first bench going in is going to be one dedicated to you, not only for your military service, but for your service with the town. And it's well deserved. I know I had to argue with you to get the bench, because Richard always humbles himself. He says, no, I'm not deserving. Well, you are deserving, and you're getting the bench whether you like it.
Yeah,
They're beautiful, Richard. They're 6 foot. They're black anodized with a powder coating, and a Trex type of material, so they will not rot or deteriorate. And I can assure you, yours is the first one going in. So,
Thank you.
And that's from all of us to you. That's the least we can do, because you've done so much for us, Richard.
All right. And also the service award. So this is what the plaque looks like for everybody, and I'll read it here in just a second. Service award presented to Richard W. Muscatello in appreciation for your many years of service, extensive contributions, and dedication to the town of Wheatfield. Now, as Larry mentioned, when you start going back as far as 25 years, it starts to become difficult to pinpoint the exact time. So it says over 25 years. We were confident of that, but I think it's probably closer to 35. But thank you for everything that you've done for the town of Wheatfield over the years, and really also everything you've done to inspire me and inspire others around the town. Really appreciate it, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Richard, I know Richard wanted to speak. Is it appropriate time to you now? Would you like to speak to us?
Well, yeah. First thing, I want to assure sure for everybody that I've had all my shots. And I'm wearing a mask because I have a compromised immune system. I was mentioning to Larry and Jill about our days in New York City. How much I learned in those days. I used to go to those association towns, and how much I learned. Because when I first joined the planning board in the town of Wheatfield, I knew nothing about planning board. I was appointed by, can I mention names?
Sure. Just not,
I was
just not in my...
appointed by Terry Kuhn to be the chairman of the planning board. And it all came about kind of awkward-wise because I'm not of the other party. And I have chemo clock there. But we talked, and I asked, how did you find out why you want me? And I'm not in the same party. And it seemed to me that we were doing some work at Kenmore Mercy Hospital, where I was in administration. And I was negotiating union contracts with a very famous local union. And the gentleman that I was negotiating with, unbeknownst to me at the time, was a political advisor to Terry Kuhn. And he was also the negotiator that I was negotiating opposite. And because of that relationship, he and I got along pretty well. We negotiated a good contract and a fair contract. And from that point on, I got an offer from Terry to take over the planning board. And one of the conditions was that I had to change parties. And I said no. I figured, well, that was the end of that. And the next thing you know, I got a telephone call why I didn't show up for the planning board meeting that I was chairman of. But speaking about that, I had very little knowledge about planning boards until I met up with planning board members at that time. I'll keep this brief. But gentlemen like Don Brofrock, Tom Batt, I'm being told, Clarence. These guys, gentlemen, were really gentlemen. They showed me that planning boards convinced me that planning boards aren't a place to go to be told you can't do something. It's a place to go to help you do something. That's all he did. It always stayed with me. And I tried to pass it on to the others. But having said that, thank you. Oh, and I just want to recognize the unofficial members of the planning board, and they're sitting here. Because at 5:30 every night, including Saturdays, I say have dinner, go upstairs to my office, and I worked until 11:30. That's the time we used to go to bed. And I didn't watch any programs that they watched. And we didn't do a lot of traveling or a lot of extensive socializing family-wise because I devoted all that time to the top of the mountain. Thank you. And, there are some people that I do. I know you're not supposed to mention names, but I just want to mention the names of people that have helped me to truth, Jeff, you said you think I did. People that, Don Crowford, when I first met him, I think he had 30 years on the planning board when I just started. And he had a joke for everything that we did. And they were kind of corny, but they were good. He de-escalated a lot of problems with his good humor. And if anybody should be honored, it should be Don. That's a great guy. I also like to thank Tim Falk and Drew Riley for the help they gave me, because they were dealing with somebody who was not very knowledgeable at the beginning. And I can't overlook Roberto O'Toole, the work that the guidance that she provided me, particularly when we're measuring communication towers, the lights and that. And of course, Dominic's one. You were building Jarvis at the time, and I know we both had a couple of times, but we got through that. Same with Doc. And then I want to recognize Winston Moeller. Winston was my constant advisor, and we couldn't go wrong listening to Winston's advice. So I thank the board, I thank the community, and I thank my family for the opportunity to serve.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you want to use that as a plaque, that'll see it up on that.
Oh, very good, thank you.
You know, one of the things,
Thank you.
Curt, I would like to get the board with some pictures with Richard. But one of the things that I've cherished over the years was that Richard and Don Crowfrock and I had lunch every 2 weeks. And we solved all the problems of the world, and Richard helped me with my problems. And one thing we always joked about, and again, I mean this strictly in jest, I said, you know, Richard, you're not Lutheran, you're Catholic, and you're Italian. How'd you get a job in the town of Wheatfield? Because if you weren't German and you weren't Lutheran, you didn't work for the town. And then he asked me, well, you're a Scotsman, how'd you get it? And I said, I was Protestant. But we had a lot of times, and he mentioned Don Crowfrock also. And this is your night, Richard, but you're true. Don was an exceptional man, and he was with the town for years. And the three of us, I worship all three of you. You're the best. And I want to thank you for everything you've done for me personally and for the town. Thank you, Richard. If we could get a picture down front, and we also have